Listen to me very carefully.
For years, people have predicted that robots will take over humankind, but in the world of Hollywood, a majority of the big screen robots could not come to life without the help of human voices and movements. Realistically, replicating the movements and voice tones of a robot is no easy task. Over the years, we've seen it done in a variety of different ways, including motion capture suits. So now, it's time to peel back the robotic layers and reveal all the actors behind some of the most iconic movie robots, including some of your favorite Star Wars droids and a big bad Marvel villain.
Can I be of service, sir?
Playing the role of a robot is no easy task. It comes with the complexity of removing a majority of human emotions, limiting movements, and understanding exactly what the robot is capable of. The challenge of portraying a robot becomes even harder when the robot doesn't speak any English.
Do you wanna, go?
This is the case for one of the newest and more popular Star Wars robots, the rolling BB-8. On set, J.J. Abrams and his crew had to develop a variety of practical shooting styles to help BB-8 feel real without using a full CG design. And then, the voice work needed to be done. In the case of BB-8, actors Ben Schwartz and Bill Hader both contributed to the sounds of the character. With BB-8's cute factor and ability to convey comedy through just noises, it was only natural for two comedic actors to come and help make BB-8 feel alive on the screen.
Don't get technical with me.
At first, Ben Schwartz recorded the English translations of BB-8's lines and interactions with Rey. The use of the English lines coming from BB-8 sounds bizarre, but helped serve the film crew and editors to propel emotional beats for cutscenes and specific angles. After the English lines, Bill Hader came in to do the sounds for BB-8. With J.J. Abrams working on a synthesizer, he could just adjust and change the pitch of the sound as Hader created them. Hader had to match the cadence and the flow of BB-8, so the robot noises were not just random, but helped fit into the context of the scene. And this would not be the only time Bill Hader helped to provide a voice for an iconic robot. In the 2017 Power Rangers reboot, Hader provided the voice for Alpha 5. The fully CG character actually does speak English, and Hader's voice is pretty recognizable as he guides the Power Rangers on their journey to become heroes.
What are you?
I'm Alpha 5. Now formic locate persona android.
Once again, various sound effects and distortions are used to help make his voice sound like it's coming from an actual robot, as opposed to just a human doing a poor impression. For Hader's roles as Alpha 5 and BB-8, he did a bulk of the work in a sound booth, but this is not always the case for a majority of actors. Take, for example, Alan Tudyk. In Rogue One, a Star Wars story, Tudyk played the droid K2SO. For the part, he performed in a motion capture suit, which helped him record his voice and movements at the same time. The depth and movements in the role would have been vastly different if he didn't have the other actors to perform with on set. The physical presence of Tudyk also allowed him to improvise with actors, including the backhand he delivered to Cassian as they attempt to get past some stormtroopers.
And there's a fresh one if you mouth off again.
Tudyk's role in Rogue One seemed like a natural fit for the actor, and it was, considering his history in the world of fictional robots. Years and years before his role in Rogue One, Tudyk was donning the motion capture suit for the futuristic Will Smith thriller I, Robot. Tudyk played the main robot, Sonny, where he delivered a captivating performance as a bot who shows a whole lot of human emotion. Through the role as Sonny, Tudyk was able to channel the scary lifelessness of a robot with the same mixture of fear, anger, and violence. Through the convincing performance, Sonny didn't just feel like some type of CG creation, but an actual living character in the futuristic world. And while the roles of Sonny and K2SO allowed Tudyk to perform in a motion capture suit, the technology was not always as advanced in the world of Star Wars. For the original trilogy, and a lot of the prequel trilogy, actor Anthony Daniels portrayed the iconic role of C-3PO. The gold-plated droid was actually a very tight-forming suit placed over the body of Daniels while he performed. The movements were limited from the suit itself, but a lot of the iconic movements and walking style of C-3PO was mastered by Daniels. With lights in the eye holes and a number of pieces used to dress him, showing up on set for the role was no easy task. Along with the time it took to put the suit on, Daniels could not use the bathroom without taking the whole suit off first. Food was hard to intake, and Daniels could pretty much just take sips of water through a straw. On some filming days, the process would go on for hours and hours.
Which reminds me.
For the prequel trilogy, things were a little different considering the state of C-3PO. The droid had no outer armor for episode 1, making it a challenge to create a suit for a human. so in its place was a shadow puppeteer. The person would stand directly behind the droid model, and all the movements the performer would make will be duplicated by the droid. In post-production, the human shadow puppet would be digitally removed. Once C-3PO started getting his more recognizable parts back for episodes 2 and 3, Daniels stepped back into the suit. Fun fact, the C-3PO suit used in Attack of the Clones is the same one from The Empire Strikes Back, but was repainted for the movie. And when Daniels returned to the role for The Force Awakens, there were many upgrades this time around.
You probably don't recognize me because of the red arm.
Daniels got a whole new suit, one with a lot more flexibility and comfort for the actor. C-3PO even had the ability to grab objects, as seen in the close-up shot and him removing the map from BB-8. But even with the added flexibility, Daniels was able to make the movements of the droid feel authentic to their origins.
I see your point, sir.
Of course, we cannot mention C-3PO without mentioning his right-hand droid, R2-D2. Actor Kenny Baker actually got inside of the droid for his performance of R2-D2, manually rotating the head around and doing movements as needed. There were numerous models of the droids, some which would allow Baker to keep his legs free, others where he would be completely covered on the inside, and radio-controlled versions with no human performers in them at all. Baker not only played the role of R2-D2 in the original trilogy, but came back for the sequel trilogy as well. Due to Baker's old age and eventual passing in 2016, the role of R2-D2 was passed on to performer Jimmy V, who is credited as the main R2-D2 performer for The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. But the role of R2-D2 is not all physical performance. Despite being a random set of beeps and boops, the noises from R2-D2 are just as recognizable as his round dome. Back in the original trilogy, the development of R2's voice could be attributed to Ben Burtt. Burt has years of experience in the world of sound development and design for films, and he often lends his voice to help bring characters to life. In the Star Wars saga, Burt not only helped give R2-D2 some personality, but he used his voice for the power droid in Return of the Jedi. You know the one, it gets flipped upside down and has his robot feet burning while screaming out in agony. He has an ability to make space creatures come to life, as Burt was an essential part of developing E.T.'s voice for the classic Steven Spielberg movie.
E.T. Home phone.
Burt would not leave the world of robots behind though. Along with major credit given to him for R2-D2, Burt also supplies the voice for Wall-E in Pixar's ambitious animated movie. So the next time you think Wall-E is a droid copy of R2-D2, just remember that both character sounds came from the same source material and sound designer.
Wall-E.
Back in the 70s and 80s, it took a lot of creative work to get realistic robots on the big screen, but there was one movie which changed everything. T2 Judgment Day. The Terminator sequel not only brought back Arnold Schwarzenegger as the powerful T-800 robot, but we also got introduced to the T-1000, the liquid robot with shape-shifting abilities. The incredible effects features on the T-1000 still hold up today and changed filmmaking forever. And no matter how many Terminator sequels or new robots get introduced, nothing compares to the T-1000 thanks to a blend of amazing special effects and a top-notch performance from actor Robert Patrick. Patrick mastered the stiff and confident walk of the T-1000, making him appear like a mindless machine with one goal in mind. Patrick's performance is almost unreachable. Speaking of evil robots, there's one who gives the T-1000 a run for his money, the evil Ultron. Despite being a completely CG character, James Spader captured the movements and voices of Ultron in a motion capture suit. This allowed him to be physically on the set of the movie and play off of other actors while performing in the role. To convey Ultron's larger-than-life size, a long pole was attached to Spader's back and gave other actors the eye line for Ultron so the scenes would match up correctly when the final CG animation was placed into the shots. Motion capture continues to be used in movies as well. For the film Real Steel, we had to believe that giant robot boxing matches were the real deal. So once again, motion capture suits were used. For the main robot Adam, performance actor Kevin Dorman stepped into the role. The idea of performance capture was nothing new for Dorman because he spent years working on various video game productions. The main difference between the robots in Real Steel and the other robot movies are the real-life boxing skills these beasts needed to know. So along with Dorman, boxing great Sugar Ray Leonard was brought in as a consultant to help blend the mix between robot movements and fluid boxing stances. Dorman also had to work hand in hand with Hugh Jackman, as a key plot point in the movie was the ability to mimic each other's moves. Now, we've reached a point where motion capture and CG can blend seamlessly together, and where sometimes motion capture is not needed at all.
You're coming at this the wrong way, kid.
No, tell me, I want to know.
Take, for example, the Transformers spin-off film, Bumblebee. The little yellow car brought all the feels, but didn't need an actor to come to life. Bumblebee director Travis Knight worked closely and deliberately with ILM animation supervisor Scott Benza to help audiences connect with Bumblebee. The character wasn't just about creating explosions or intense action scenes. Knight was able to pull out an emotional side, and did it all through animation choices. Even the amount of times Bumblebee blinked in the movie was calculated. Each blink of the eyes had to do with a specific scene, moment, or reaction from the character. Without any dialogue, Bumblebee also had to convey emotions using just physical movements like head tilts. While we've seen plenty of Transformers movies in the past, something about Bumblebee stood out in its attention to detail. With fewer Transformers on the screen, the film didn't feel like a hodgepodge of robot battles, but added a more intimate touch and extra attention to every single movement Bumblebee made.
You like my shirt? Are you a metal fan?
The 80s soundtrack probably helped a little as well, and Bumblebee represents the core of how the robots are portrayed in movies. No matter what type of technology is used, viewers want some type of emotional connection, and this is something actors like Alan Tudyk, Anthony Daniels, and James Spader have brought to life over the years. What's the most impressive movie robot you've seen? Which actor performs them the best? Any great ones we missed? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content.
I'll be back.